Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea. Dear listeners, now we start the English language service of Voice of Korea from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Here is the mixed chorus, song of the janitor Kim Il-sung. Paris. 상하부 제너럴 김정일. This is VOK, Voice of Korea, News Now. The respected Kim Jong-un, General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, signed the important letter on smashing formalism and making a fundamental change in the party's ideological work to the participants in the first short course of propaganda officials of the Workers' Party of Korea on March the 28th. In the letter, he said, "The first plenary meeting of the 8th Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea decided to formally guarantee the successful implementation of the new 5-year plan presented at the Party Congress and make a substantial progress in the improvement of the people's living and put forward a grand program for finally solving the socialist rural question. In order to carry out the crucial tasks, which are not easy to do because of the manifold trials in the way, it is as usual to regard the ideological and spiritual strength of the popular masses as the most powerful weapon and move it in every way. The truth idea that man decides everything and there is nothing we cannot do when we stimulate the people ideologically will fully display its validity and vitality as the principle of revolutionary leadership and political philosophy of our party forever in the future too. The ideological work is the greatest of the cores of the party work for our party, invariably holding fast to the truth idea. The ideology first principle is the fundamental key to overcome the difficulties and win a new victory, and it is a unique revolutionary mode of the Workers' Party of Korea. The basic task of our party's ideological work is to model the whole party and society after the revolutionary ideal of the party's Central Committee. The political and theoretical circles should be powerful to constantly deepen and develop the party's ideological work in accordance with the requirement of the revolutionary practice, he said, and indicated specific orientation in ways to enhance the level and role of the political and theoretical circles. Kim Jong-un said it is an analysis of the Party Central Committee at present that the revolutionary change in the party's ideological work should begin with smashing formalism and put forward a task to thoroughly eradicate formalism remaining in the party's ideological work. He analyzed the forms of intensive expressions of formalism in the party's ideological work and their after effects, and stressed that there should be the strict rule and discipline of the propaganda field of the party to correctly know the important contents of the ideological education as intended and assigned by the party central committee, and do substantial ideological work in close interconnection so as to eliminate formalism remaining in the ideological work. Kim Jong-un importantly pointed out that the theoretical education is a primary work to arm all the members of the society firmly with the revolutionary idea of the party central committee. He underscored the need to make the ideological campaign intensive and precision in the struggle against the anti-socialist and non-socialist practices. He emphasized the need to launch the agitprop offensives more fiercely so that the whole country can sit with the struggle to achieve a new victory of socialism by implementing the idea and policy of the party central committee. He noted that successes of latest science and technology should be widely introduced into the agitprop work to create new and modern means and ways. He stressed the need to have a general understanding of the deviations remaining in the propaganda sector of the party and take correct measures on the principle of raising the promptness and efficiency of the ideological offensive. Kim Jong-un said the officials in the propaganda field of the party should maximize their level and ability to meet the demand of the revolution, the desire of the times, and the expectations of the people. He stressed the need to enhance the key role of the Information and Publicity Department of the Party Central Committee in making a fundamental change in the party's ideological work. He underscored the need to establish a very powerful discipline in the propaganda field of the whole party and the habit of giving top priority to the ideological work of the party officials and actively cooperating with the work of the propaganda field. He said the Workers' Party of Korea regards it as its greatest pride and great strength to have tens of millions of faithful, steadfast, and distinguished propaganda officials. And he ardently called upon all to wage a vigorous struggle to bring earlier the new victory of Korean-style socialism with a great strength of ideology, in high spirits, and with full confidence.
The first short course of propaganda officials of the Workers' Party of Korea continued on the 29th. Speeches were made. The participants deeply analyzed and reviewed the work in the past on the basis of the main idea and spirit of the important letter sent by the respected Kim Jong-un. Speeches introduced experiences in agitprop work that trained lots of hot-blooded loyalists and true patriots of the great Kim Jong-un era by mainly conducting the education in greatness of the leaders and in loyalty to them in a fresh way to firmly carry on the baton of single-hearted devotion of the people who believe and follow only the Workers' Party of Korea. Dwelt upon in speeches were successes of those units which led the implementation of the party's policies by definitely pushing ahead with the ideological work as the core of the party work and the work of the party committees, and thus stimulating the spiritual strengths of the officials and working people. Also introduced were innovative working manner and methods by which a great revolutionary upsurge was made through a fierce ideological campaign in the dynamic offensive spirit. The short course strictly analyzed and reviewed the deviations, such as the failure in decisively improving the ideological and agitprop work in keeping with the demand of the rapidly developing revolution and the practice of formalism. The speakers expressed their resolve to fulfill their role as loyal spokesmen for the party central committee and buglers of the revolution in generally orientating the inexhaustible spiritual strengths of all people to the building of a prosperous and powerful country, keeping deep in their hearts the instructions of the respected General Secretary Kim Jong-un that the ideology first principle is the fundamental secret of overcoming difficulties and winning a new victory and the revolutionary mode peculiar to the Workers' Party of Korea. The participants in the first short course of Propaganda Officials of the Workers' Party of Korea entered into a workshop for having a deep understanding of the theoretical and practical issues arising in the future ideological work.
Tens of university and college graduates in Gangwon province resolved to work at the revolutionary battle sites in the area of Mount Baekdu and teach at schools in the forefront areas and Arlit and mountain villages. A graduate of the Wonsan University of Education expressed a will to become a lecturer of the revolutionary battle sites in the area of Mount Baekdu. And tens of graduates of the same university and the Wonsan Disudok Teacher Training College volunteered to teach at schools in the forefront areas and secluded Arlit and mountain villages. A meeting for expressing their resolve was held at the Songdo-won Youth Open Air Theater on the 27th. Timber production for rural construction is accelerated. The Chasung and Kwapong forestry stations under the Chagang Provincial Forestry Management Bureau increase the production every day by introducing efficient logging methods while making far-sighted preparations for creating forests in the cyclic felling district. The Ryanggang Provincial Forestry Management Bureau is strengthening its material and technical foundations and rationally distributing manpower and means in accordance with the specific conditions of the felling district. Forestry stations under the South Pyongyang Provincial Forestry Management Bureau are raising the rate of mechanized work to increase the fall per unit time. Pyongyang City has given active assistance to educational institutions, making a contribution to the preparations for the new school year. The City Power Distribution Station, the Pyongyang Poultry Production Bureau, and the Ryuan Footwear Factory prepared lots of materials and teaching tools needed for education and sent them for Pyongyang Teacher Training College. The Pyongyang Foodstuff Complex sent computers, motor generators, and other aid materials for modernization of education to the university under its charge. Educational equipment and furnishings have been secured at many other educational institutions before the new school year under the sincere support of the Pyongyang Cosmetics Factory, Pyongyang Department Store No. 1, and different other units. Spring tree planting is going on in different places of Pyongyang City. Working people of all strata plant a lot of saplings and flowering shrubs around the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun. Meanwhile, Ryukpo and Hyungjae-san districts create forests of wild fruit trees in an efficient way under the practicable plan to turn the mountains in their localities into golden and treasure mountains. Advanced diagnosing and treatment methods are introduced into the provincial curative and preventive institutions. The Ministry of Public Health has learned about the conditions and environments of the provincial level curative and preventive organs, grasped the technical and practical ability of the medical workers, and, on its basis, ensured that the advanced diagnosing and treatment methods now in use by the national hospitals were introduced into them. The national hospitals make technical teaching programs with video data as well as different experiences accumulated in their clinical practice and distribute them to the provincial curative and preventive organs. They also give online lectures to the medical workers in the provinces through telemedicine system. Medical workers of the national hospitals render technical assistance to the provincial curative and preventive organs on the spot. And that's the end of the news read by Cha Yun-kyung, Ma Kum-sung, and Lee Hyung-sin. This is Voice of Korea. Please enjoy the female solo in Bangchang, O Tender-Hearted Father. Enjoy the electric violin solo, Fascination. Now you will enjoy the song, Ardent Mind. Though we close our eyes, we see his bright smile. His endearing voice rings even in dream. Oh, where's our benevolent Marshal Kim Jong-un? We want to run to see and hear him. We eagerly long for him with ardent mind. It is the light music for piano. Best wishes. Here is the forum of candidate academician, Professor and Dr. Kim-hyuk Mo, researcher of the Academy of Social Sciences, under the title, Role of Consciousness of Independence in Social Movement.
유생불멸의 주체 사상은 사회적 운동에서 결정적 역할을 하는 것이 그 주체인
The immortal Juche idea elucidated that what plays the decisive role in the social movement is the consciousness of independence of the popular masses. It's the subject. The consciousness of independence means the awareness of one's being the master of one's own destiny and signifies the will to shape one's destiny by one's own initiative. The people's consciousness of independence plays the decisive role in the social movement, which means that it is the decisive factor determining the people's role in the social movement. The consciousness of independence makes the popular masses take an active part in the social movement with a correct stand and attitude. In general, how the people participate in the social movement is decided by their stand and attitude. Only when they have the consciousness of independence can the popular masses have a correct standpoint and take an active part in the social movement for independence. The consciousness of independence enables the popular masses to display the strong will and fighting power in the social movement. Only those who have a firm consciousness of independence will be able to take the resolute stand and attitude in the social movement, the revolution and construction, and struggle with a strong will to the end, overcoming all difficulties and trials. The role of the consciousness of independence increases with the development of the social movement. The struggle for socialism is the highest form of the conscious movement of the popular masses. Because the cause of socialism is the cause for completely realizing the independence of the popular masses by transforming all sectors of the society as demanded by the socialist ideology, and it is the cause which is carried on purposefully and consciously on the basis of the high self-consciousness of the people. Since the role of the ideological consciousness is enhanced extraordinarily in the socialist society, the Workers' Party of Korea maintains it as a mode of its consistent struggle to solve all problems with the might of ideology and accelerate the advance of the revolution.
So far, you've been listening to a forum of candidate academician, Professor and Dr. Kim-hyuk Mo, researcher of the Academy of Social Sciences, under the title, Role of Consciousness of Independence in Social Movement. This is Voice of Korea.
You'll enjoy the meal chorus. Long live the Workers' Party of Korea.
appreciate light music for violin. The road we go willingly.
We now present the song We Meet Again after overcoming arduous trials from the revolutionary opera The Flauto, adapted from the immortal masterpiece of the same title.
Thank you.
Dear listeners, with this we conclude the English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Europe between 15 and 16 hours UTC, between 18 and 19 hours UTC, between 21 and 22 hours UTC, and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 7,570 kHz and 12,015 kHz. In North America, between 15 and 16 hours UTC and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 9,435 kHz and 11,710 kHz. And for Northeast Asia, between 4 and 5 hours UTC and between 6 and 7 hours UTC on 7,220 kHz, 9,435 kHz, and 9,730 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.